Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajākacārya Ashtotara Sata Srimad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Samstapakacharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, 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 all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So this morning we are going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 1, in the matter of questions by Vidura, text 15. Is that the text on the board? 15. Ka enam atropajuhāva jihmam dāsyaḥ sutam yad-balinaiva puṣṭaḥ tasmin pratīpaḥ para-kṛtya para-kṛtya āste nirvāsyatām āshu purāc chvasānaḥ enam atropajuhāva jihmam dāsyaḥ sutam yad-balinaiva puṣṭaḥ tasmin pratīpaḥ para-kṛtya āste nirvāsyatām āshu purāc chvasānaḥ enam atropajuhāva jihmam dāsyaḥ sutam yad-balinaiva puṣṭaḥ tasmin pratīpaḥ para-kṛtya āste nirvāsyatām āshu purāc chvasānaḥ enam atropajuhāva jihmam dāsyaḥ sutam yad-balinaiva puṣṭaḥ tasmin pratīpaḥ para-kṛtya āste nirvāsyatām āshu purāc chvasānaḥ Vaishnavis. Sutam yad-balinaiva puṣṭaḥ tasmin pratīpaḥ para-kṛtya āste nirvāsyatām āshu purāc svanā. Kaha, who, enam, this, atra, here, upajuhāva, called for, jihmam, crooked, dāsyāḥ, of a kept mistress, sutam, son, yat, whose, balinā, by whose subsistence, eva, certainly, puṣṭaḥ, grown up, tasmin, unto him, pratīpaḥ, enmity, para-kṛtya, enemy's interest, āste, situated, nirvāsyatām, get him out, ashu, immediately, purāt, from the palace, chvasānaḥ, let him breathe only. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Who asked him to come here? The son of a kept mistress. He is so crooked that he spies in the interest of the enemy against those on whose support he has grown up. Toss him out of the palace immediately and leave him with only his breath. Purport. When getting married, the Kshatriya kings would take on several other youthful girls along with the married princess. These girl attendants of the king were known as dāsīs or attendant mistresses. By intimate association with the king, the dāsīs would get sons. Such sons were called dāsī-putras. They had no claim to a royal position, but they would get maintenance and other facilities just like princes. Vidura was the son of such a dāsī, and he was thus not counted among the Kshatriyas. King Dhṛtarāṣṭra was very affectionate toward his younger dāsī-putra brother, Vidura, and Vidura was a great friend and philosopher and philosophical advisor to Dhṛtarāṣṭra. Duryodhana knew very well that Vidura was a great soul and well-wisher, but unfortunately he used strong words to hurt his innocent uncle. Duryodhana not only attacked Vidura's birth, but also called him an infidel because he seemed to support the cause of Yudhishthira, whom Duryodhana considered his enemy. He desired that Vidura be immediately put out of the palace and deprived of all his possessions. If possible, he would have liked him caned until he was left with nothing but his breath. He charged that Vidura was a spy of the Pandavas because he advised King Dhṛtarāṣṭra in their favor. Such is the situation of palace life and the intricacies of diplomacy that even a faultless person like Vidura could be charged with something abominable and punished. Vidura was struck with wonder at such unexpected behavior from his nephew Duryodhana, and before anything actually happened, he decided to leave the palace for good. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport to Canto 3, Chapter 1 in the matter of questions by Vidura, text 15. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shlakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Caitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsya Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminiti Namine Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gorakata Damdaya Nagragramatharine Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Gopi Paranadana Dasayati Namine Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishashunyavadi Pasyatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Paridanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnevbhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Phangum Langayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Bande Shri Guruntarinam Yatkripatamaham Bande Paramanandamadam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram Katanchana Smrte Yasmin Dushkaram Sukaram Bhavet Vismrite Vipritam Syat Shri Chaitanyam Namamitam. So we are in the week leading up to Srila Prabhupada's disappearance tomorrow. So the Bhagavatam speakers have been requested to speak something about Srila Prabhupada for about 15 minutes in the beginning before speaking on the purport. And the topic that I have been presented with is how can future generations connect with Srila Prabhupada. Before we understand how future generations can connect, we need to understand what is the connection before how to connect. We all know that Srila Prabhupada is the founder acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So, when we think of the founder acharya, what exactly do we mean? It has a lot of significance. Founder acharya means the one who gives the formula for deliverance, the specific formula. We know bhakti is the formula in general, right? There are many different elements of bhakti. Of course, Shravanam and Kirtanam is the primary elements of bhakti. But how many rounds to chant? Is it 16? Is it 32? Is it 64? So, chanting is the general principle, but how many rounds to chant? 16 rounds. So, that has been specifically given by Srila Prabhupada. So, that's one element. Then, all Vaishnavas, irrespective whether they're Gaudiya Vaishnavas or anywhere else in the world, they all wake up early in the morning, Brahma Muhurta. That's just a standard expectation from a practitioner of bhakti. But what does one do when one gets up? So, for ISKCON, Prabhupada said, we sing the samsara prayers. Now, many of you may not be aware, but this samsara prayers is not the one which is sung in the Gaudiya Maths. They have different prayers which they sing. But the samsara prayers was uniquely assigned to members of ISKCON by Srila Prabhupada. Like that. So you have the Narasimha prayers after that, then you have the Tulsi prayers after that. We have the Darshanarti, then you have Bhagavatam. Before Bhagavatam class, you have Srila Prabhupada Guru Puja. That again is very unique. So, while we are in the Madhva Gaudiya Parampara, more specifically, Srila Prabhupada refers to us, members of ISKCON, as Saraswatas. He says that every member of the Krishna consciousness movement is referred to as a Saraswata. We are all Rupanugas, of course. Prabhupada says that we are, Rupa Goswami is our leader. But even among the followers of Rupa Goswami, we have a specific identity which Srila Prabhupada defines, which is called the Saraswata Rupanugas. Saraswata Rupanugas means we who follow Rupa Goswami as taught by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. So that has been handed down to us by Srila Prabhupada. And more specifically, Prabhupada says that what is a Saraswata? Prabhupada says it's a two-pronged definition. Both elements of the definition are important. He says that the Saraswatas are those who preach the Krishna consciousness movement and who defeat all kinds of opposition. So this is how our identity is formed as a member of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Of course, when we say preach the Krishna consciousness movement, it is a given. The Prabhupada said that if you do not, purity is the force. So we have the practice. Why I spoke about practice first and preaching next is because we start off with the practice, which is early morning we rise and then we practice, and then after prasadam, then we set out for what? So set out to do these two things, to preach the Krishna consciousness movement and to defeat all kinds of opposition. So this manner of Krishna consciousness is presented to us by Srila Prabhupada. So when it says founder Acharya, it means the one who gives the specific formula for deliverance. So if the members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness have to be delivered, and if they have to deliver others, this is the formula. Like for example, we know that when Einstein invented the, he discovered this E is equal to mc square, E is energy, E is equal to mc square. So those of you who are in science will know this. M is a constant of proportionality. M is the mass, and C is the speed of light. Anyway, let's not get into that thing. But M is the mass of an object. Mass can be converted to energy. And so there is a specific formula. E is equal to mc square. Now, it could not be something else. It's not that E is equal to mc cube or E is equal to m squared c. Although the same elements may be there, E, M and C. It's just three elements, E, M and C. But it is combined in a specific way, so which produces a certain effect. We saw that when the bombs were dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It completely devastated those places. But it is a certain combination of three elements, E, M and C, in a certain way. So we may have all the elements of bhakti, but Prabhupada has given us a certain combination. And it is that following that combination which produces the effect. So we need to follow bhakti in the combination that Srila Prabhupada has given us. Now this is common for all members of ISKCON. It's not that we can rise early in the morning and say, okay, for the next 2 years, we'll do parikrama of Mayapur. This is our morning program. This is not our morning program. Of course, I mean, Prabhupada also took devotees on parikrama, but that's on specific one-off situation. But he didn't make that our regular practice. So our regular practice has to follow what Srila Prabhupada has said. So founder Acharya means everybody in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness is following that formula which Srila Prabhupada has given. Okay, then when we look at this table, it is very easy if someone were to ask, whom does this table belong to? I think all of us would easily reply, this table belongs to Srila Prabhupada, because he is the founder Acharya of ISKCON. And this table belongs to ISKCON. So we naturally would reply that this table belongs to Srila Prabhupada. Okay, let's go to the next step. Whom do I belong to? Whom do you belong to? Then sometimes devotees don't know, whom do I actually belong to? Do I belong to my guru? Do I belong to my counselor? Do I belong to the temple president? Whom do I actually belong to? Do I belong to my husband? Do I belong to my wife? My children? Who is it? The answer is the same as the first. Every member of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness belongs to Srila Prabhupada. So in that sense, everybody in ISKCON has a unique relationship with Srila Prabhupada. Everybody has a unique relationship with Srila Prabhupada. Okay, some of you may immediately think, now what is the difference between this and there is a group of people who propound a philosophy called Ritvikism. What is the difference between this and that? Are we saying that all of us have a unique relationship with Prabhupada and it's all that matters? There are two ends of the spectrum. To claim that all of us have a unique relationship with Srila Prabhupada, it's a direct relationship. That alone is it. That's it. That's called Ritvikism. On the other hand, you have something called fanaticism, which is that no one has a direct relationship with Prabhupada. We have only relationship through the guru or through the president or through whatever, counselor. So that's fanaticism. So you have Ritvikism on one end, then you have fanaticism on the other end. But the reality lies somewhere in between. All of us have a unique relationship with Prabhupada, and at the same time, when we say we have a relationship with Prabhupada, it means to follow what he has given. So throughout his books, he is very clear that one has to accept a spiritual master, a physical spiritual master. One has to also follow authorities, whether it be the temple president or those who engage us. So we have both a direct relationship with Prabhupada and we also have a relationship with him through his followers. This is the reality. If we just emphasize only one, then it is either Ritvikism or it is fanaticism. We need to have both these perspectives simultaneously in our minds. So, more specifically, we can get general instructions of bhakti from Srila Prabhupada's teachings. But the specific engagement, how do I know what I need to do? How do I know what I need to do? Prabhupada is not going to directly instruct us. This is what you do. Of course, Prabhupada can do anything, but that's more like a very rare thing. Many of you may have had dreams where Prabhupada may appear to you, or he may have said something, or whatever. I remember once I had a dream where Prabhupada appeared and he said, I was in the university at that time, and I need to early in the morning I need to go to the university. But when I woke up that morning, before I woke up, I had a dream where Prabhupada said, go to the Bhagavatam class. So I skipped university that day. And it was about 20 kilometers away, the temple. I went to the temple. And I will never forget that class because it was a class attended on Srila Prabhupada's direct instruction. So it was a class given by our ISKCON's Sridhar Maharaj. And he spoke a very strong class in which he said, if you have to attract the attention of Srimati Radharani, said, first of all, we have to work on ourselves. This is what he said. Without that, there's nothing beyond, you can't progress beyond, without doing that, you can't progress further. So that always rings in my mind, always, that first of all, we have to work on ourselves. Okay, so this is a general instruction. Go to the Bhagavatam class. Of course, you could say specific in one sense on that particular day. But in general, devotees don't receive direct instructions. Okay, this is what you do, the next thing you do this, next thing you do that. So you don't generally get that kind of instruction from Prabhupada. So he has left his followers for us, so that his followers, the spiritual masters, both Diksha, Siksha, the temple president, the counselors, whoever maybe are specific authorities, they can give us that guidance. So through that guidance also, the relationship with Prabhupada is established. So we have both a direct relationship as the founder Acharya. He owns everybody in ISKCON. At the same time, we have a a relationship through his followers who give us specific services, how to be connected to him. So it's a combination of these two which help us attain what Prabhupada wanted us to attain, prema bhakti, help others attain also the same thing. So how all generations, future generations can be connected with him? First of all, we have to realize that Prabhupada is not some previous acharya. Prabhupada is the final authority of everyone's life in ISKCON. So we have an active, ongoing relationship with him, and it's not some distant relationship. And the best way to keep always in touch with that relationship is through the Bhaktivedanta purports. Because Prabhupada said that these purports are my personal ecstasies. So by being regularly, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, so we regularly hear the Bhagavatam, and if you regularly read Srila Prabhupada's books, then these are his personal ecstasies. So we maintain that constant personal touch with Srila Prabhupada. So these are some thoughts which I had. There is an article, a very long article, very beautiful article, written by Satsarup Maharaj. It's too long to print. It's, many pages, so I couldn't print and hand out copies. So it's called How All Generations Can Stay with Srila Prabhupada. It's a very famous article. You just Google it, you'll find it. How All Generations Can Stay with Srila Prabhupada by Satsarup Maharaj. Okay, so it's exact 15-minute mark. So I'll go on to the verse. So here we see that Vidura is being insulted by Duryodhana. And as other speakers before me have said, Vidura took this as the mercy of the Lord. It's very interesting that Prabhupada ends tomorrow's purport, the text 16 purport, by saying, the supreme energy of the Lord here acted both internally and externally. And so externally is in reference to Duryodhana. Obviously he was acting under the influence of external energy. But the way Vidura took it was the influence of the internal energy. So Prabhupada explains that in the preface to Teachings of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada makes a very important point, which is that there are 6 elements of surrender. To accept things favorable for the service of the Lord, to reject things unfavorable to the service of the Lord, to have no interest separate from the service of the Lord, to be exclusively dependent on the mercy of the Lord, to have firm faith in the Lord's protection, and to always feel meek and humble. And he says that one who takes to the surrendering process, Krishna takes direct charge of such a devotee. So one may wonder that, am I surrendered? So unless I am surrendered, so would Krishna take direct charge? When it says direct charge, it means through his internal energy. That's what it means. So would he take direct charge, or I have to wait for some time? No. Prabhupada explains elsewhere in several places that just like a ripe mango and a green mango, both of them are mangoes. Like Prabhupada was once asked by a reporter, how many pure devotees are there in the Krishna consciousness movement? And Prabhupada asked the secretary, how many devotees do we have? And when he was given the number, he said, that many number of pure devotees. So Prabhupada used the word pure devotees to convey both those who are practicing and those who have attained the perfection of pure devotional service, which is prema bhakti. So with the word pure devotee refers to those who are practitioners and those who have attained the perfection of that practice, which is prema bhakti. So, when it says that the Lord takes direct charge, Prabhupada gives the example of the fan. He said, once you switch off the fan, it doesn't immediately stop rotating. There is residual momentum. So it takes a while before the fan comes to a full halt. So Prabhupada explains that that residual movement of the fan is not caused by some active current. It has already been plugged off. So like that, once we surrender, once we tell Krishna, Krishna, I am yours. I want to surrender unto you. And one has that desire, exclusive desire. Okay, I just want to surrender unto you. I may have so many anarthas, I may have all the different inabilities, but I want to surrender unto you, despite whatever may be my condition. So that's like plugging off, pulling off the switch. So then, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary to Tatte nukampam susamikshamano bunjane vatma kritam vipakam ridvag vapubir vedadan namaste jivetayo mukti pade sadhaya bak. So Prabhupada didn't translate that, didn't write the purport to that because it comes after he left this planet. So the disciples of Prabhupada have written purport to that. And they've quoted Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. So he says that a devotee, whatever happens to them, he takes it as the mercy of Krishna. Because when the internal energy administers something, that is mercy. But when the external energy administers something, that is called Maya. So the moment begins one's process of surrender to Krishna, then everything that happens to our life is administered by Krishna. Krishna's energy, internal energy. Therefore, it is called the mercy of Krishna. And Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur explains that it may appear like karma. It's only got an appearance of karma. But it's not. It's the mercy of Krishna. Because Krishna chooses, okay, this person, he or she has got something from the past. If something of it is beneficial for one's attaining prema bhakti, Krishna will give it in the proportion that is needed. So he is the one who takes, or his internal energy is the one who directly takes charge and determines what is necessary for a devotee. So sometimes a reversal, sometimes a suffering, so many different things. Sometimes something good also. I mean, it's a combination of everything. But the internal energy knows what is perfectly good for each living entity. So this is the beauty of the process of pure bhakti, that in the process of pure bhakti, the Lord takes direct charge. Then one may wonder that Krishna became Arjuna's charioteer. We don't see Krishna coming and interacting with us, right? So why is he not taking direct charge? What does it mean, taking direct charge? So Srila Prabhupada gives another example. He says, just like the leader of a country, he is the leader of all people in the country. And he loves, of course, assuming that the leader is impartial, he loves all people in the country equally. But he has got his own personal entourage. Now, they are also citizens of the country, but his relationship with them is special. So, like that, we have been given an entrance into the entourage of Krishna by the mercy of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So, we need to be very clear and conscious of this fact that once we take up to the process of pure devotional service, everything that is happening in our lives is the mercy of the Lord. Then someone asked me some long time ago, and I gave a class on that. What is the role of astrology? So I won't go into the details of this, but I'll just mention the principle. Giving an analogy, once Vishal Prabhu who's no longer with us. He used to be a book distributor in Vrindavan. Those of you, even a few years ago, if you go, even during a Bhagavatam class, he'll come and try to sell a book to you. So he was a very good book distributor. So during Srila Prabhupada's physical presence on the planet, he had visited an astrologer who gave him a talisman. And when Prabhupada noticed the talisman, he asked him, "What is this talisman for?" And he said that this talisman is to ward off the influence of Rahu. And Prabhupada replied that you have surrendered to me. You have surrendered to the process of Krishna consciousness. You have surrendered to Krishna. So Krishna, with one stroke of his kick, he can kick millions of Rahu planets. So when he heard that, he immediately removed the talisman and threw it into the gutter. So this is the fortune that His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, has brought for all of us. In fact, those of you who are interested in astrology, because I've studied for 1 year, if you read the pastime of Prahlad Maharaj, the specific term that is used in reference to Krishna protecting him is Krishna Griha Grihita. He was saved because he was seized by the Krishna planet, Krishna Graha. Grihita is a word which is used in astrology, which refers to, they say that Rahu, Ketu, all these different planets, they seize the individual, S-E-I-Z-E. So, this same expression is used in the Bhagavatam, Krishna Graha Grihita, which means that Prahlad Maharaj was seized by the Krishna planet. So, even literally, if we take to the process of Krishna consciousness, then we can be rest assured that there are 9 planets which influences astrologically, but there is another planet called Krishna Graha. Krishna Graha. Just like Prahlad Maharaj was seized by the Krishna planet, so we can also be seized by the Krishna planet. Now, does this mean that astrology is not Vedic or is it not useful at all? It is useful. We could use it as long as it is favorable. But if it's not, then we should apply the principle of Krishna consciousness. Okay, if there is a good time to conduct something, okay, we can go ahead and do it. But if something good is being obstructed by astrology, then we should favor the Krishna consciousness over astrology. That's the point, that Krishna always takes care. And this is a story, I've told this many, many times, but I was very impressed when I took to Krishna consciousness, and now it is 33 years. I've seen what happened. In the early years of my Krishna consciousness, I was told this story. I mean, in fact, the person who did it himself told me that there was a devotee who was supposed to get married. And the astrologist said, this is a very dangerous muhurta. And if you conduct marriage during this muhurta, there would be death. He didn't say who will die, but there would be death. Now that's quite scary, right? I mean, if an astrologer is pronouncing that don't conduct marriage during a certain muhurta, it will lead to death. But this devotee was the temple president, told the astrologer, look, our spiritual master is going to be physically present at this muhurta. And he travels around the world, and he's here. I mean, he comes here only once a year and for a few days, or once or twice a year, a few days. And he's here, he happens to be here, and we have planned it to conduct in his presence. And he is the representative of the 33 crore demigods. He's the representative of Krishna himself. So we're going to go ahead and conduct this marriage at this muhurta. It happened. Now in the last 33 years, I have not seen anybody die. I mean, neither the husband nor the wife, they even have a daughter. So this is the principle of Krishna consciousness. That the principle of Krishna consciousness supersedes everything else. So when astrology is favorable, okay, we can use it. If it can be done, why not? But if it's unfavorable, we stick to the principle of surrender to Krishna. So, Vidura, we notice here that Prabhupada, I mean, in fact, the verse itself says, tomorrow's verse you'll see, Gata vyataha, without being sorry, without being sorry. That's the nature of a pure devotee, that they take it as the mercy of the Lord. Now, when things happen to us, if we feel sorry, then we can immediately know we are not like Vidura. So it gives us an indication that, look, I have a long way to go. With those of us who feel like that, who are not able to take it without being sorry, we know, okay, we have a long way to go. But at the same time, Krishna consciousness is a process of hope. Prabhupada says, Bhagavatam says, that just like when we eat food, so we feel nourished, we feel lack of hunger, and so we feel energetic. So like that, by the practice of Krishna consciousness, we can observe, and Prabhupada repeatedly, again and again and again, he says, this is the test. And he says, nobody needs to give you a certificate. You can test it yourself. Which means that as we progress in the process of bhakti, we should be able to feel more and more attraction towards Krishna. At the same time, our feeling sorry for reverses, for sufferings, would keep decreasing. One day it will become nil for sure. One day it will become nil. But it is a progression. So as long as we are able to see that progression, we are well situated. Of course, we may progress very slowly also. That's why Prabhupada has given us the society of devotees. So in the society of devotees, we always have good guidance, corrections and things like that, and we accept it. Then our progress can be very fast. Otherwise, we'll progress very slowly. But if we accept the mercy, the good fortune of the association that Srila Prabhupada has given us through the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, then we begin to progress very rapidly on the path of bhakti. One important note I wanted to say was that this philosophy that everything is Krishna's mercy is good universally. But we should be careful how we teach this philosophy, how we preach this philosophy. We can teach and preach ourselves every time, all the time. But when we teach and preach this philosophy with regard to others, we should be very careful about what we are doing. Because Vedic culture is, it's a very well-designed, Krishna's plans for the material world, Krishna's plans of how to lead life in this material, all very well planned and very well structured. So, one of the important elements of a society is the principle of justice. Principle of justice is very, very important. Because if there is no principle of justice, if there is no law, then becomes an animal society. So, in any society, lawful behavior is very, very critical. So, when there is unlawful behavior, first of all, there should be punishment. There should be consequences for unlawful behavior. So, if someone has been at the receiving end of some unlawful behavior, you cannot go and tell that person it's the mercy of the Lord. Okay, it is philosophically true, but what have you done? Especially if you are part of same group or a same society. First of all, justice should be administered. Without administration of justice, we cannot just take one part of the philosophy and say everything is the mercy of Krishna. Yes, we understand everything is the mercy of Krishna, but Krishna's instruction is that there should be justice, there should be law. So, more specifically, in the past, in the history of the Krishna consciousness movement, we've had situations where different devotees have had to go through different traumatic experiences. And quite often the philosophy is used, everything is the mercy of Krishna. But then what about the fact that we need to render justice first? So this is a very important, and that has led to a lot of devotees, I wouldn't say a lot, but I don't know how many, but significant number of devotees being disillusioned with Krishna consciousness. because the philosophy is being used in an improper manner. First of all, there should be the principle of justice, punishment, and then this goes hand in hand with that. It cannot be looked at independent of that. So, whole of Vedic teaching is like that. You can't just take one part of it and just apply it all the time, in all places, all circumstances. Yes, it is true in all places, all times, circumstances, but it cannot be presented, in the sense of overriding the principle of justice. So what overrides is always justice first, and then how to understand everything in perspective and things like that. Anyway, I'm just trying to say that when we understand this principle of everything happening as the mercy of Krishna, first of all, we need to apply that to ourselves. That's fine. But when we apply it to others, we have to be very, very cautious about who are we talking to. What authority do we have? And things like that. Okay, so in a class like this, I can talk about the principle of mercy. But when we deal with devotees, when we are instructing devotees, when trying to help devotees, we should always be conscious of the fact that the principle of justice is very, very critical before we bring up this whole thing about, before even think about this or talk about this. Okay, so on that note, I'll end here. If there are any comments or questions. Yes, Vijay.
Justice.
There is a book written by a child who was born in ISKCON. It's called My Fault, My Karma. Okay, so when the most abominable activities were committed, still some people use that philosophy, oh, it's your karma. When children are abused, the first principle is justice, harsh punishment. So we can't apply the philosophy there and say, oh, it's all karma. So that's what I meant. That's one example.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. This Duryodhana is there, Vidura is there, and Duryodhana, Vidura are there, Dhṛtarāṣṭra, and Pandavas are there. Justice is not applied inside the palace because Pandavas are troubled by Kauravas.
Yes.
It is known to all acharyas.
Yeah.
And counselor is there, Vidura.
Yes.
Still, it was slack and giving the justice and punishment to the Duryodhana and are not there, or I wanted to know.
Because there was slackening, that's why they were all destroyed. So, because of the absence of proper justice, they were eventually destroyed. Because Duryodhana is committing offenses, so they were destroyed, right? So, whenever there is a lack of justice on the part of those who have been designated by Krishna, then Krishna himself awards the justice.
So that means
they will face that. Right?
There is a karma. Can we say
no, nobody can be free. Like for example, there are the king, okay, or the administrators. They are supposed to administer justice, right? If they fail, that's not the end of it. Okay, they have failed. Then Mahamaya is there, so she will administer the justice. That's why, for example, in the Vedic civilization, if someone commits a murder, they're supposed to be hanged to death. Capital punishment used to be there. Prabhupada explains that. So if the person is hanged to death, then Mahamaya does not have to do, because that already the justice is administered there. But if they're not hanged to death, then Mahamaya will administer justice.
So finally, can we say that is a karma?
What is karma?
Karma is their fate, because their enviousness got increased and finally they are destroyed. Duryodhana and all.
You can't say, okay, it is bad karma, yes. They created that karma, yes. They created their karma by acting improperly.
Okay.
Yes, I don't know. Okay.
Prabhuji, you mentioned a very important point that the Lord provides or sometimes He takes away according to our like whatever is favorable for our Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
Yes. So in certain cases we observe, like I observe, like suppose, let's give an example. Suppose there is an opportunity that some money is coming. Suppose, for example, money is there. You have to do some effort, and then there is some money is coming. Then the mind says that this can be used in Krishna's service. Okay. Or sometimes we think that, oh, let it be, that effort is there, it's wasting of time, why to go for that? And then in this situation, how do we understand that what is Krishna's mercy, what is Krishna want? Like, do I have to go? Like this individual choice, basically. Like, how do we understand?
Just like suppose you go to a physical, do some physical exercises. Okay, let's say people who go to a gym, they want to lift weights. The first day they go there, they may have a desire, I want to lift this, whatever. But they can't do it themselves, and neither they can figure it out themselves. There are people there who are experienced, who will test what is your capacity. I've not been there, so I don't know that. I'm just talking the principle. Huh? So they know what is your capacity. So based on your capacity, they'll train you like that. So that's why we have experienced Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas who've lived their life in Krishna consciousness. Based on their experience, they'll tell you, okay, this is impractical, or this is too much over endeavor, less endeavor. So that's why we have the fortune of association of devotees, due to which our progress becomes very secure and nice. So we can always consult those who know. Okay, exactly 9 o'clock. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.